The rotating double knit loom has an eyelet hat. Yes, I have a double eyelet hat. This is an eyelet design working in the round double knit here on my knitting loom. I'm going to make this into a hat today and teach you how to make this in the round. You could convert this pattern into a cowl if you want. We're going to be using the knitting board double knit rotating loom, and I'm actually using the topper. So y'all haven't seen me do this on this channel yet, but I've added in the 60 peg double knitting loom topper, and we're going to make this today here on GoodKnit Kisses. Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to cast on and double stockinette and also make this eyelet design in the round. You will have to continue repeating certain sections for the video in order to complete it to a certain length. Then I'll show you how to make that area to start working on the crown, and then we'll finish it off together, including this anchor yarn and finishing that off to get a complete hat. So if you don't know how to do those things, we'll do it all in this video today. You can also get a right and a left-handed video tutorial, and the links are down below, along with the written pattern and instructions on our blog. So that link is down below. That'll have all the supplies that you need. If you want an ad-free version, you can also get that for a discount on our website, or you can get it on our Ravelry and Etsy stores. So for supplies, you're going to need your loom tool, you'll need a scrap piece of yarn, and you'll need your main yarn. This is Lion Brand's Scarfy yarn. And then we've got our rotating double knit loom. So this loom normally has two round looms, a very round, not triangular shape loom on the inside and the outside, which is 52 pegs. But you can get this loom topper, which has an inner and outer loom, or inside and outside loom, and it gets you up to 60 pegs. So you can make this whether you have the topper or not. It's just going to be more slouchy and stretchy, and the instructions are using the 60 pegs, but you can still use the smaller amount of pegs with the main loom. So grab your supplies and your pattern, and we'll begin. Let's cast on all our pairs of pegs. We're going to do 60 in here, but if you have the circular looms that come with the rotating double knit loom, then you can use 52. That's fine. Let's do the stockinette cast on, but we're going to do the double stockinette cast on, where we actually skip every other peg the first time around, and then you go back around and pick up the ones we missed in a very specific order. So make sure you have your loom knitting tool, your main color of yarn, and then a scrap piece of yarn to put in your anchor yarn. So we're going to begin with a slip knot and go on your first peg, which has a arrow right here, but I put in a little stitch marker so you can see it a little bit better. It's kind of hard to see that arrow, so there's one little stitch marker. Now remember, when you begin, the pair across from you is straight across, and that is the number 1 peg, and we're going to go in this direction. If you need a right or left-handed version, it'll go in the opposite direction. And so when I refer to the last peg, it'll be this one over here, or second to last, which is where we end on all of these pegs. It will be this one over here. Okay, so if you need to put another stitch marker back here on this very beginning peg 1, then do so now before you begin. Okay, so we're going to put in a slip knot, and we're just going to place that on our peg 1. So drop that down the center, place it on the peg, and tighten it up. Okay. And now we've wrapped around peg 1. We're going to continue wrapping, not a wrap, just you wrap right around peg 2 on the inside loom. So we started on the outside loom, peg 1, then we're going to wrap around to the front or the outside peg. We're going around the outside of this peg in a U knit fashion, and then go back to the inside peg, and we're going to go to the 4th peg. So we're going to the odd pegs on the outside and the even pegs on the inside, and we're going to go all the way around, skipping. Once you get started, you may notice some of these pegs don't exactly line up, but I promise they are in the right spot. So it'll be a little bit more noticeable on the second pass. Just go ahead and go all the way around one time, skipping every other peg. Okay, we're coming to the end. You'll see where I end this. So I'm on the second to last peg on the outside. I go to the very last peg right here on the inside, and then come to the front. And to end this round, you don't start again at 1. You're actually going to go to the very last peg on the outside of your loom. So last peg here, this is number 60 on my knitting topper here, or loom topper. Now for the second round of this, the next step is to go to peg 1 on the inside and pick up all the odd pegs on the inside and even pegs on the outside. So you're just simply picking up all of the missed loops, or all of the missed pegs. Pause your video or slow down the video with the quality playback or playback speed button if you need to. There we go. All right, we're coming to the end again, and you'll notice my last peg will be the second to last peg on the loom, and just come forward just before that first peg. Okay, you can see my little starter here. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to place in our anchor yarn. So I've actually gone ahead and threaded this on the end, and I have a long strand that's going to go around the inside. So just place this in between our last pegs and first pegs and pull that down. Go ahead and pull the tails through. Okay, and now I can just lay this around. Okay, and I'm just going to pull my yarn down here for my scrap yarn to get all of the looseness out. And there we go. So it's all the way around. You can see that. All right, so we are ready to continue casting on. You just push down your stitches, and you're going to continue in the stockinette again and knit over 1 over 1. So to begin the round again, and this is how all of your stockinette rows go. You're going to wrap around the first peg, so peg 1, go to the second peg on the inside, go to the front or outside on 3, and every other one all the way around. All right, so I'm going to continue this. Pause your video as needed. Okay, we're back to the front, and we're on the outside of the second to last peg. Go to the very last peg on the inside, and then again repeat that on the very last peg on the outside. So you have these 2 pegs that are wrapped next to each other, and that's totally fine. That's what you're supposed to do. Now you're just going to pick up all the stitches that were missed, which is on the inside, the odd pegs, on the outside, the even pegs. Go ahead and do that. Pause your video. When we meet back up, we'll be at the second to last peg. See you in a moment. To complete casting on, simply knit over the bottom loop over the top. If you want to lock in that inside peg, you can turn it around and knit that second to last peg first to lock that in. If you want to go ahead and do all the inside of the loom first, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you do the inside or the outside first. Just go ahead and knit those over. Pause your video and meet me back up for the next set of instructions. See you in a moment. Okay, we're ready for round 1. Round 1 is simply stockinette in the double stockinette stitch, skipping every other peg and then picking up the other stitches. So again, go around peg 1 in the front or outside, go to the peg 2 on the inside, and every other stitch as you go. Remember, when you finish up this row, the second to last stitch and the last stitch will be wrapped together, and then you begin the next round. So you're going to do round 1, knit over, and you're going to repeat that one more time. So you've got 2 of the stockinette rows. Go ahead and complete those. Pause your video. When we come back, we will start on the eyelet row. We'll see you soon. All right, so we have done 2 rounds after cast on. We're ready for the eyelet stitch pattern. This is the body of your project. And before wrapping, you're going to move pegs over. We're going to start by moving the odd pegs over to the even. So this is on outside and inside looms, or boards, whatever you want to call them. So we are going to go to odd pegs. So we're going to go to peg 3 and move it to 2, peg 4, and move it to 3, and so on. After you do the outside loom, then I want you to do the inside loom and follow the same pattern. It's a bit easier to just do one of these looms first, the outside or the inside first, and then do the other. That way everything lines up, and you can see that you have a peg with 2 loops across from another peg with 2 loops. So continue doing that, and when you get to the last peg over here, you'll see that peg 1 is actually going to go on top of peg 59 over here, right here. So, or not 59, 60. So peg 1 goes to 60, and when you go to the inside, let's go to this side again, and then we'll let you pause your video and work on it. So remember, peg 3 went to peg 2. Peg 4, what is that? Peg 5 went to peg 4, and so on. So you're going to go in this direction when you go on the inside. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and when we come back, everything should be every other peg. Pause your video, and I will see you at that point. Okay, so after we've moved everything, and by the way, you could have like moved everything kind of going in this direction. So if you're using this hand, you can pick them up and move them this way and rotate. So it might be easier for picking them up. So little tip for all the other times that you do this round. So just move it in the direction that's easier for you when you're rotating the loom. Okay, so we're going to begin by wrapping, which is exactly the same wrapping pattern as our stockinette stitch. But you can see when we moved over this second to last peg here, we moved it over this one. It's the 3rd from the end, and the yarn, working yarn, moved back that way. That's okay. You're still going to go all the way to peg 1. You don't have to be very tight with it. That way it doesn't show a pattern change. So just be a little looser on peg 1, and then go ahead and wrap the pegs as usual. So on the outside of the loom, you'll be wrapping an empty peg, and on the inside of the loom, it'll already have 2 loops on that peg. So go ahead and pick up those stitches, and then on your when you end, again, same thing, you're wrapping these 2 stitches consecutively, and then you're going to pick up all the ones that were missed. So when you're done wrapping this round, or these 2 revolutions around, you'll have 3 stitches on some pegs and 1 stitch on every other peg. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Pause your video, and we will see you when you will have all those pegs done. See you in a moment. All right, so it's time to knit over. On the pegs that have 3 stitches, you're going to knit the bottom 2 stitches over the top of the peg, and make sure that you're not knocking off that top one as you go. Go ahead and lock in the one in the back. Oh, pardon me. You can't lock in the one on the back because it is a single one. So the only way to really lock this one in is to do this one up front. So if you find that this falls off later on and it's empty, you'll just kind of come back around here for when we start wrapping again. So you're going to finish knitting over all of these, and that will complete round 2, which is the eyelet round. Then you're going to repeat around 1, which is just the stockinette row. So every time I say repeat round 1, you're just doing a stockinette row. So repeat round 2 and then do a stockinette row. We'll come back and we'll join you up to show you how to do round 4, which is the second eyelet pattern, and it'll shift over. So pause your video and I'll meet you there. All right, you finished round 3, which is stockinette, and now we're doing round 4, the other eyelet. So the other eyelet is going to shift over 1 stitch. So instead of moving the stitches we did last time, now we're going to concentrate on moving the even pegs starting at peg 4 to the odd pegs. So starting at peg 4, even to odd, and of course you can go to 2 and 1, and you can even kind of go backwards and do 60 to 59. So I get that on there and keep going. So you're just doing every other one and then line those up when you go to the back over here. So let me do a few more. And actually, let me show you this too. Here's a quick trick. So we're going to be repeating these rows again. And if you can't remember if you're on a row 2 or row 4, here's a really easy way to tell. You can go at any point on here, and when you pick up a stitch, if you pick it up and you say, oh, this looks like it has a hole in the back of it, looks a little empty, you'll be able to tell more on yours. And then you pick up the one next to it, you'll see the one next to it is kind of sitting, it looks like the yarn is kind of sitting on top, but when you pull it back, it looks like it has a full complete stitch. It's very easy to tell. So it has a full complete stitch. That one was completely closed last time, so now we're going to open it up this time. So you just move that one that was a full stitch over to the one that that had the open space on it. So this one here is going to move over, and so on. All right, and then you're going to turn around and go on the inside of that loom. And again, here's another way to tell. So if you're like, I can't remember which way I moved it, go ahead and pick up this stitch. It looks like there was a stitch behind it. So now we're going to move it here. If I pick up this stitch, you'll see it looks very empty. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it looked like it had had a hole in it before. So you're going to take the one that didn't and put it on top. Okay. So every other one, I mean, of course, once you have the pattern going, you'll know which way to go. So go ahead and do that. You're going to wrap in stockinette again and knit over 2 over 1 on the places that have them. If they have only 1 stitch, you don't knit that over. And then you're going to do another round 1, which is a stockinette stitch. So round 5 is round 1. So pause your video and meet me back up for the next part. Okay, so we're at the section where we're going to start working on our crown. You have knit to 6 inches, which is from here until it hits the bottom here. And you've got all your eyelets where the last eyelet that you worked on is at the top here down to this part. That's about 6 inches. And now you want to knit 2 more inches in stockinette. So I've actually already knitted those 2, so I'm going to pull this down so you can see it. My 2 inches are already peeking through. And the way that I know that is you can actually roll up your knitting. I'm going to fold this down here and turn it again. Okay, so you can see it had gone all the way down to the end, and now I've actually turned it because I've worked 2 more rows of stockinette. So those in between rows that you already know how to do, where you're not making the eyelets, you're just going to make 2 more inches of that. So go ahead and do that. Pause your video, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to close this crown and take it off of the loom. All right, pause your video, and I will see you there. Okay, so we're at the section where we're going to start working on our crown. You have knit to 6 inches, which is from here until it hits the bottom here. And you've got all your eyelets where the last eyelet that you worked on is at the top here down to this part. That's about 6 inches. And now you want to knit 2 more inches in stockinette. So I've actually already knitted those 2, so I'm going to pull this down so you can see it. My 2 inches are already peeking through. And the way that I know that is you can actually roll up your knitting. I'm going to fold this down here and turn it again. Okay, so you can see it had gone all the way down to the end, and now I've actually turned it because I've worked 2 more rows of stockinette. So those in between rows that you already know how to do, where you're not making the eyelets, you're just going to make 2 more inches of that. So go ahead and do that. Pause your video, and when we come back, I'm going to show you how to close this crown and take it off of the loom. All right, pause your video, and I will see you there. We're going to reduce the number of stitches to make it a little bit less bulky on the top. It's not going to do much, but it's going to give you a little bit less bulk. So we're going to move all of the even pegs to the odd pegs on both the outside and the inside loom. So I've moved peg 2 to peg 1, peg 4 to peg 3, and so on. So if you want to do that on the front or the outside first and then the inside, but here's me moving peg 2 on the inside to 1 on the inside. So you've got every other peg with empty pegs, or they've got 2 on them. So go ahead and do that all the way around. And when you're done, you're going to knit over. Okay, so once you've moved them, go ahead and knit over. So go ahead and do all of those pegs, pause your video, and meet me back when you're finished. Now you're going to bring the loops from the inside of the loom to the outside of the loom. So there are only 2 loops on every other peg on just the outside of the loom. And then you're going to knit over all the loops on the outside of the loom. So go ahead and pick up peg 1 on the inside, move it to outside of peg 1. Same with peg 3, move it to the outside, inside of peg 5, move it to the outside. And then when you're done going all the way around, you can knit over these, and you will have 1 loop on every other peg, only on the outside loom. So go ahead and do that. Pause your video. I'll see you in a moment. Now that you've done that, go ahead and break your yarn till you have about 12 to 18 inches and thread a tapestry needle. And now you're just going to go around all of the loops that are remaining and go ahead and take that off of the loom, or you can go without the tapestry needle and pull it off with your loom tool. Just go through those stitches and pull them off. You can go in either direction. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to begin this way. So go ahead and go through all of those stitches and just pop them off the loom when you're done. And then we're going to pull this together in a drawstring to finish it off. Pause your video and I will see you there. And now we're just going to pull this off the loom. I just went through my very last loop. Pull that straight off. And this is what our hat looks like right now before we draw that up. So now we're going to draw this up, just pulling our drawstring. There we go. And you can see it's kind of a breezy, bulky top because, you know, this is a breezier hat here. So I let this kind of be a little bit more of a breezy decrease, a little more open than normal, but you can make it, cinch it a little bit smaller. Go ahead and get your tapestry needle and you can work through those stitches one more time, and you're going to weave in your tails. So here's my tapestry needle, and I'm just going to go through a stitch. All right, so we're going to take our tapestry needle and go through another stitch. And I'm going to take it to the inside. Flip that inside out. It's really mostly a reversible loom, but because of the way that I did the decrease, it looks like a little purl stitch right here. So this is technically the inside. Go ahead and pull your stitch tighter. Don't pull it too tight because you might break this particular yarn. And now you can go through several of these stitches again to really anchor in the top of this hat and make sure that it is completely closed. I just go through all my stitches one more time. You can miss a few if you can't see them all. And leave a loop. You can go through that and do that another time or two. Make a loop and go through it again. Pull through, and then you can just break your yarn. I just broke it with my hands. I don't have any scissors near me, but that works fine. So just turn it inside out. That's what the bulk of that hat, or the top of that crown, looks like. And you could do a different kind of decrease if you like. This is what I did for this hat. And then now we're going to finish off the brim. It's kind of brimless, but we're just going to finish this off with a crochet hook. So grab your crochet hook and go to the beginning. Okay, and you're just going to start opposite of where your tail is and go here and find the very first stitch and loop through that, and then find the next stitch and pull through, and find the next stitch and pull through, find the next stitch and pull through. So it's that simple, just using your contrasting anchor yarn as a guide to get the very next stitch and pull through. And once you get down to the end where your beginning slip knot was, did I say anchor yarn earlier? I don't know. When you get back to where your slip knot is, you can just pull that on through and weave in your tail. So I'll show you at that point where I am. So pause your video and continue on. I'll see you at that point. See you in a moment. We are at the end of finishing off our anchor yarn, and I've just been slowly pulling through this anchor yarn. So I've got 2 more stitches, this one here, and then the one that was my slip knot. Go through that one last. There we go. And then pull out my anchor yarn, and then my tail, we'll just pull that on through. Oh, easier said than done, but basically pull that on through. And then go ahead and get your tapestry needle and put that on. And I think it needs to close up with just one more loop here. So you see how this isn't quite connected? Just go through one of these little V-shaped stitches here, and you're gonna kind of fake another V-shaped stitch. So go back through here again, and you've closed that up, and then you can go into the other side, go to the inside of the loom, or not the loom, into the hat, and just start stitching in to close by weaving in your tail. And you can just go through several of these little stitches here and bury that yarn. And I like to go through and then up again to bury it. And then you can just simply clip that off, and you have your finished hat. Isn't that great? Oh, I love it. It's just such a nice breezy hat. It's great for springtime or summer nights that are nice and breezy. Go camping or watch fireworks or whatever, and it's still breezy. It keeps your head a little bit warm, but it's not super hot, so you don't feel like you're just burning up. And it's great and squishy because it's double knit. Well, I hope you have enjoyed learning how to make this double eyelet hat. I'm Kristen with GoodKnit Kisses. Thank you so much for joining me. Join me for more tutorials, and click down below to subscribe. I'd love to have you watch all the rest of our tutorials and have something fun to make. Have a great day. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.